Welcome back, friends, and welcome into today's flight. I'm out here on the ramp with the Beechcraft Baron 5.8, and we are expecting a straight out today from Kathmandu Airport to none other than Nepal's deadliest Lukla Airport. Currently situated at 9,333 feet, roughly. It's going to be one of the most tricky approaches I think Grantham's ever done. So we're going to go ahead and hop into this Beechcraft. It's looking like a pretty sunny day. A little bit mild, bit overcast where we are, but we'll probably pick up a little bit as we move along. And as you can tell, we're not using real world time because we cannot fly into Lukla Airport in the dark. So let's go ahead and get prepared. We've already got into the cockpit, we've done a pre-flight walk around. The aircraft's actually in good condition today. It's looking very well maintained. I've not flown it for a while. I've been releasing it out over the last few weeks. So anyway, we're going to get started. Let's go and get the master and alternator switched on. I'm going to be following the full checklist today to make it make sure A, the aircraft can run properly, and B, that we don't experience any issues on the way. So now we've got the battery and voltage. We should see some stuff come alive. Let's get rid of the yoke so we can see the instrument panel a little bit better. Bus volts, yes, we have got bus volts. So running slightly low, but we still got them. Okay, anti-collision lights, that will be the navigation and the beacon lights. And the gear lights, we've got 3 green there. Propeller controls, high RPM. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, cold start, mixtures. First of all, we want to activate the fuel controls, so we're going to do that down there. And a good way to check it is you can just simply zoom forward to make sure you switched it on. So let's put fuel mixture on the right side full. Let's do the fuel pump. Hold on 1 second, everybody. Let me just adjust the volume of the stream so you can actually hear. Hopefully hear the aircraft. See, all you have to do is do that for a few seconds. Wait. Actually, just let me show you. Wait for the peak fuel flow. Doesn't seem to be peaking much in this area, but then again, we are pretty high up, so sometimes it won't do it if you're above a certain altitude. So we turn that off, we crank the throttle open a 1/4 inch. Magneto start switch, let's go for another right start. Fantastic, so that's pretty easy. And we leave it about 1000 RPM there. I'm going to do the same with the second one, so we're going to go down to the left hand side. We've checked the T's and P's, everything usually is pretty good. The oil will be a little bit cold, and of course we have to wait for 24 Celsius before we can actually exceed 1000 RPM or 1200 RPM. Welcome in, hello finders, great to see you again. So yeah, we do the same with the left side. Fuel pump on. Just keep it on a few seconds and then turn it off. Crank that throttle. And that is just how easy it actually is to start this plane. Of course, we have done all the walk around things, so that'll be the most timely thing before the engines start. Propeller controls are high RPM. Everything's coming up good. T's and P's are all rising. Okay, alternator lows down here. So they're actually 0 at the moment, but they will charge up. Starter light is extinguished. Instrument air source checked. Voltmeters 28 volts. Okay, mixtures, controls, full rich. Pre-taxi checklist next. Let's do the avionics first, and we should really have the prop sync on. So that will be actually in the before engine start checklist, which I didn't follow. That's fine. Anyway, avionics coming on. Switch them all on. And today we're going to preload the flight plan from the downloaded document systems for the FMS. Let's figure out how to work this thing. It has been a while since I've flown the Beechcraft Baron, although as I said in the past, I love it and I wish I could fly it more. Right, give me a second guys, my memory will come back in eventually. There we go. So it came back pretty damn quick. There's the flight plan, so we got a nice little circle out. That's kind of like the approach we had in actually. We, if you remember the landing at Kathmandu, we came down, circled down in the 737 and made the landing. Very good flight by the way, you should all check it out. So it looks like a long way, but it isn't. It's not that far at all. Procedurally, departure wise, let's just get our flight plan up. The Igris 1 Echo departure, runway 20. And we just scroll down, Igris 1 Alpha, Igris 1 Charlie, Igris 1 Echo. It's already preloaded, we already know that. 20, so the runway is there, and then approach or arrival. Kimti direct to Lukla Airport, which is going to be very difficult to see. But it looks like it's already in there anyway. Scrolling down, we got a few things in there. So let's go back into procedures. Let's just do that, make sure it is actually programmed in. Closest one is KMT T1 Golf. Alright, we'll leave it. Leave it like that, and it's gone off now. Excuse me, everyone. Be a little bit longer on the flight plan side. It's in there, it is in there. Maybe just get rid of that. Procedures. Let's just select that. And that should give us a thing back. It's just giving us a straight white line there as well, but Kimti is in it. And then yeah, okay, that might just be the arrival. Right, awesome. Vertical navigation, what are we cruising at today? I'm going to guess it's going to be pretty high up, maybe 14, 15,000? No, so about 12,500 feet, which is not too impressive actually for the Baron, although we can certainly manage it. Let's go ahead and do that. You're not going to set any vertical speeds. We're just going to let the plane buckle under my control. Now we do need the weight and balance. Let's check what fuel we've got. We have 198. That's not actually that much for this kind of flight. So 198. Right, because I've got this XCPL thing plugged in, it won't refuel. I forgot about this. So we have to turn the engines off to refuel it, which I find a bit strange. Considering it's a plug-in, you know, it should not impact us in that way, unless we choose to use it and choose to interact with it. So just be aware of that. My advice is to simply delete it. I don't know why I've reinstalled it. Right, okay, just give me a second. I think we've got to turn the engine off. Let's just turn the engine off quickly. Don't worry about it, we'll get it restarted, so we'll cut the fuel off. Let's try it now. So 198. Be very quick to restart it, guys. Let's put 215, and we need the weight and balance. Oh, 5 packs on board, so that'll be me and 4 passengers. 67 on the baggage and cargo. Cargo 4, maybe about 30 in each, 32 maybe in each, a bit more on the back. Payload 464. Let's just do 464 on the payload and let it just distribute it equally, although it's given us 119 on the baggage, so we definitely don't want that. It's going to give us a rear end centre of gravity and it's going to pull us down. Okay, I wish it wouldn't scroll back up when I've done it. So what have we got here? 2 pilots. It's just to estimate the weight, and then no, we haven't got 2 pilots. 1 pilot. Again, just guessing them it can sometimes be a challenge, and then 4 people in the back. I'll put 182 in there. I think that's probably all right there for 2 people. Yeah, it should be fine. As you can see now, it's now refueled with no issues whatsoever, so we're pretty much good to go. We're going to use the departure page now, and I'm going to get those engines restarted. It's pretty easy because it's a warm start. Typically just put the mixture back and just turn the magnetors back to start. Really taking it easy on this one. I don't want to, because it's very easy to crash at Lukla. I don't have to tell you guys. I've crashed there so many times by accident as well. Estimated flight time is about an hour. If we'd flown from Kolkata Airport, it probably would have been about 2.5. So we've gone for the shorter route today. There is no departure page, but we know what we need to do. So let's bring the checklist back up for the pre-taxi. Of course, we're going to need our taxi lights on. Avionics are indeed on. We probably need the transponder on to stand by at this point. Environmentals required ATIS information. Let's get the ATIS information now. So 1018. Transition altitude 14,500. So we're never going to leave the transition zone. 1018. And of course on the backup as well. You'd be surprised how many GA pilots leave their transponders off during the flights. Okay, fuel pumps off, transponder 1200 and standby. Well, in our case it's 7,000. Taxi lights on. Okay, all the temperature, has it got above 24? Yes, it has. We're all good to taxi, and then we do the engine run up when we get to the runway. Runway 20, so we're going to take Golf and Alpha. And of course the chocks. Has been a while since I've been in this, so I'm maybe a little bit rusty on the procedures, and maybe a little bit rusty on some other things. So we got a control overlap here with the thing. It's not controlling the rudder. So this controller I've been using, but I have switched it to occasionally use yaw, which is causing issues. Lost all control of yaw. Wonder what's going on with that. Automatic yaw on. Joystick. Can we ignore this? I'm pretty sure I clicked ignore it. I just put that onto yaw. Let's switch it on there, and then I'll switch it off. There we go. Sorted it. But then we got a rudder situation on the back with it turning for some reason off to the side. Never had a problem with the usually on this plane. I think when you start to use multiple controllers, it can mess up your system, and they don't really tell you how to fix it. You just sort of have to trial and error. So we've got a little bit of space here to just sort of mess around and get it sorted. Let's get to the runway 20, and we sort it out when we get there. Rudder trim is fine. Electric trim is activated. Get our panel lights on. Does look like we're in minimum VFR conditions. Probably an IFR, just can't quite see above the cloud level. Cannot see above the clouds, it's IFR. That's a joke, by the way, everybody. There's the holding point now for straight ahead. Nice to see the viewers peak at the introduction of the stream and then they drop off. By the way, don't be afraid of sticking around. Don't be afraid of getting involved. I'm completely open to questions, completely open to chat. Okay, here's our hold point. You can tell by the black and yellow signals on the ground, the paint. And I got a nice little circle there, so that's a good point there to do our run up. Just about there, we'll go ahead and stick our parking brakes. Okay, back to the checklist. Not sure how we can get that rudder sorted out. I'm not really sure what it seems to be permanently off to the right. Can we ignore this controller? There's no option to ignore it. You know, for flight controls, there's no option on here for your collaboration thing. Let's just leave it. I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, pre-engine run up. So parking brake is set, fuel selectors are on. We should really have them on to crossfeed for the taxi. Yes, that's one thing I forgot about, actually put them on crossfeed. Fuel selectors on, engine fuel pumps off. It says if it were below 32C, which we are, it's about 20C outside. Engine instruments are all working fine, turn coordinates working fine. Mixtures full rich, 1500 RPM. Set. Instrument air pressure and load meters down here, so everything is looking standy at the moment. And then that's pretty much it. And then we drop them back, and then actually just feather them ever so slightly at 1500, ever so slightly. I'm going to do two at once so we save a little bit of time. So you can see it's not much drop, it's only on the higher RPM we'll see one, so 1700. Magnetos. Small drop. Okay, let's magnetos are fine. And of course we do the alternators, so left and right. Check that the load is increasing on the left, which it is, and the same on the right side. Pitot heats. Let's leave the pitot heats off for now. We'll get the ice store one in the windshield heat on. Usually we'd feather, where is it? Let me just give me a second. I'm going to look for the section that says feather the propellers. Like I say, it's been so long since I've done the chat list that going through it again, you remember and you don't remember things. So on 1500 you're definitely meant to do the feathering of the propellers, I'm pretty sure of it. But for some reason it's not coming up on this one. Anyway, 2200, let's see if the brakes will hold this time. Okay, great, so 2200, and this is relatively easy, it's just the props. So I'm going to exercise them for about 300 RPM drop, so about 1900. $1900 to 2000 in each one. You see that it's slightly dropping. Awesome, and that's it. And then we idle. Check for any dead running issues. Pretty good. Autopilot electric trim is set. Trim set for takeoff flight controls. Free and correct, -1 potentially fatal rudder issue, but we'll see if it's causing a problem in flight. If it is, we can sort it out. Flaps. We do not need flaps on this runway. Let's get our tape lights off, landing lights on, strobes on. Yaw damper off. Anti-collision lights on, beacon on, transponder test, and altitude 51053 on the transponder code there. Lights protection system set for takeoff indeed. Cowl flaps are open. Cabin door secured. Cool, let's get going, ready for departure. Kathmandu Airport, November 45 Extra Sierra, departing runway 20. So on the climb out, everybody, we're going to be climbing straight up to cruise level 12,500 feet. $2,500 RPM. When we're in the climb, we'll close the cowl flaps. And we've somehow lost control of the rudders again. No idea what's going on with that. Shouldn't really do this on the runway. That's so strange with the rudder control. Do it on the remote and then it's not even having any effects, like one way or the other on it. Apologies about this, we're not quite in the way just yet. I mean, we're having a bit of an embarrassing Indian situation here. Let's keep it in the middle and then just... Right, okay, stuck it back to the middle, turned it off. So hopefully that set it back to center. Unless we can center it. Center rudder. Let's try that. Now you notice there'll be no rudder control, so let's get rid of that. No. This reminds me of like most flights that go well. Just gotta think of them in times like this. Oh no, come on, please. I don't get how to reactivate the auto yaw or whatever it is. It should do it automatically. I don't understand why it won't do it. And then we gotta go back to this thing, which is it's just chaos, isn't it? Right. Right. We might be able to do it from here. So now we can turn it off yaw again. Okay, thank goodness we got, I think, potentially the steering back. Potentially, no. Oh no, guys. Right, we're sort of clear of the runway. Let's just park in the side bay for the moment. I am taking this seriously, by the way. This never happens. It kind of just, it does annoy me that their explaining is just so bad. It's such a bad game. I literally got no control of the rudder right now. Absolutely no control of it. Pressing the controller, nothing works. Just doing the rudder, it's not doing the wheels. Oh. One more try. Nope, still nothing. In situations like this, what are you meant to do? I mean, honestly, if the game is just so poor and the developers really, you know, rely on that selling point of being the most realistic simulator, and it clearly isn't. It clearly isn't the most realistic simulator on the market. Heck, even War Thunder's better than this. By the way, everyone, if you want me to play War Thunder, I have been thinking about it, or maybe another military flight sim, then just let me know. Good thing we took extra fuel, isn't it? There is nothing happening on this nose wheel steering. Oh my god. Right, everyone, just give me a few minutes to sort this problem out. I'm really borderline just turning off now because I've had enough of X-Plane, guys. I really have. It's like 6 or 7 months of this. Everyone's on Microsoft for a reason. Everyone's on that game and not this one for a reason. It's pretty obvious after 7 months. Bear with me, I'm going to just mute myself and look at the solution. Right guys, I won't keep the music playing, but I hope you enjoyed those soundtracks while we wait. I'm just looking at the solution now. It doesn't, you know, you think you'd be able to find a solution proper easy, you know, you look for an answer online, you're supposed to find the answer easily, but of course make it as difficult as possible to do it. Absolutely no control. We're looking for the answer for the auto control, auto rudder. There's nothing assigned to the rudder at the moment. There's nothing on the controller being assigned, and there's nothing on the flight controls. The game won't recognise the auto rudder thing at all. Yeah, a little bit to find us, a little bit. What song is that? Let me just get the name of it for you. That was called. That was by Ryan Stasik off YouTube Music. Completely free though, by the way. Copyright free as well. Quite good music tracks on there. I've been enjoying them. The only option for the rudder is yaw. There's no option for nose wheel steering. There's not really any option for anything else. Just a little bit unfortunate, isn't it? Maybe the brakes aren't working. It's silly. It's so silly. You turn it on, you turn it off. It works. It doesn't work. Like, why is this unresponsive? Oh, rudder. Is it because we've centered the rudder and now it's forever trapped there? Let's try and see nose wheel steering. Nose wheel steer on 7. Right, finally. Finally. Okay guys, we're on the way now. If you do like those kind of soundtracks, I'll play some more in the future. Of course. So how are we doing on fuel? 206, thank goodness we took extra. Let's get our flight directors on. Navigation, and we do altitude when we're in the air. This is pretty normal actually to taxi down the grass sometimes. These Indian pilots not getting paid enough, obviously. Kathmandu Airport, November 45 X-ray Sierra. Experienced technical issues on the ground, departing runway 20 to the north. Okay, everybody, let's get going. Come on. Now we just gotta climb straight up and pray there's no issues in the air. Airspeed is alive. Engines are sounding beautiful. Oh, steady on the runway. 80 knots, rotate. Getting a little bit steep on there. Whoa, really struggling on the lift. Positive rate climb, gears coming up. Gonna pitch for the red line, about 84, 85. You see here we have got some IFR conditions, so anyway, let's close the cowl flaps, let's get the yaw damper on. Standard procedures, and we're going to activate the altitude thing pretty quickly today. We're going to activate it pretty much now, just to save any issues, and we'll keep climbing. along the departure there, so it'll be a circular departure. Flaps are already up. Welcome in everybody, I hope you're having a smashing Friday. Cool, so let's reduce our throttles there to 2500 RPM. Now, we probably have to leave them at 2500 RPM for the entire flight. We may even have to increase them back to 2600 as we get higher up. For now, the throttles are going to maintain the full forward position, and same with the mixture. Although we are free to lean them if I want to, so let's lean them just slightly down to about 23. Landing lights coming off. So here 6,000 feet and below, and then we're at 6,000 feet or below, so it'd be about 23 gallons an hour, which is right, yeah. And then as we get to landing altitude, which should be 9,000 feet, 334, we'll have 16.5 gallons going through the engines. Well, we'll most likely have mixtures rich anyway. For cruising altitude at 12,500 feet, which is what we're going to, we'll have 16.5 gallons of fuel. And of course, if I want to, I can just continually reduce it as we climb actually. So let's go ahead and do that. Reduce it now to down to 16.5. Keep an eye on that terrain on the map. Let's use the old M button. So it is looking a little bit risky in the air. We still got to turn that way and then get out of the region and head up north, of course, towards Lukla International, one of the biggest airports and most dangerous airports in the world, clearly. Okay, are we following the flight plan? No, we're not. So let's turn GPS on. I wonder where the kit thing went. Oh, it's there, Kimchi. Right, autopilot's disconnected. We've got a bit of a problem, everybody. Aircraft is struggling like crazy in this area. Let's get the anti-ice on. Let's get the pitot heats. Let's get all the anti-ice props, surface heat, navigations, vertical speed, altitude. So when it stores like that, it may be because there's an ice build-up either in the engines or on the wings, and also it's looking, I don't know if this is fog or smog or whatever it is, but it's causing the aircraft to really struggle on this climb out. So there's Kimchi anyway. We don't have an arrival procedure, i.e. an approach. Instead we're going to be relying on visual cues, and I hope we can see out the window and things to give us that visual cue. Otherwise it's going to be bar, of course. So yeah, 12,500 feet, we will need 2600 RPM. All the anti-ice is on. Stick the fuel pumps on. The Beechcraft Baron really is forgiving. It forgives the most beginner and most maybe shy pilots. It will never ever crash super easily, so you can't easily stall the plane, you can't easily spiral or spin it. It's very forgiving in that manner. It flies extremely well on one engine as well. So even if you're a beginner pilot and you're a little bit nervous about twin pistons, fly the Baron, because it's certainly more equipped for you than it is for some other people. Some people might think it's holding their hand a little bit too much. I love it though, of course. It's it is what it is. So we need to go into KTO3. Let's do that. Let's do direct. We are struggling to generate lift here, so we're going to just decrease our nose ever so slightly. Wonder why we can't keep my lift up. CHT's through the roof. Probably don't want it to be that much. Just crank the cows open just a slight little bit, and we'll push that RPM up to 2600. Proper IFR conditions, guys. Minimum VFR, IFR, so I'm going to keep my eyes on the instruments for now. I just want to monitor the aircraft until we get up to 12,500 feet. Maybe we can increase our pitch instead of decreasing it, that might help. I'm going to be going to get a drink when we get cruising altitude. When we reach it, I encourage you to do the same. We're going to have a 1 hour flight time. So everybody sit back and relax. And the 4 people in the back, I know you're back there, Finest, and they've probably travelled buff as well, and a few other people that have been talking to me about the flights. So sit back there, there's a few sick bags, and we have complimentary coffee beans, but no water unfortunately, so make of them what you're doing. I'll contact you all when we get a bit closer to the airport.
नमस्ते र च्यानलमा स्वागत छ।
Change of plan, guys. We're going to go a little bit higher just because the mountains around us are obviously very high. The last time I flew into Courchevel, that was a beautiful flight, by the way. I remember that very well. It was very high up mountains, and I was given a cruising altitude which was too low, and if I'd continued at that altitude I would have crashed into them. So in this case we're going to climb up to 14,000 feet. The beauty, look at that everybody, look at this, the Nepalese mountains, and we may even get a glimpse of Mount Everest on the way. If you've ever been to Mount Everest in the base camp at Lukla, by the way, which is at Lukla Airport, there's only one way to the base camp and it's at Lukla, then welcome, because you're an absolute hero, brother and sisters. That is so high up and you need to acclimatise. You can't go up more than 1,000 feet or 500 feet a day, otherwise you'll end up suffering from hypoxia. Now in our case we've got oxygen, so we're going to use that, and the reason we're going to use that is because we're not acclimatized, we're just pilots. In the obviously the Baron 58P, the pressurized version of the aircraft, you won't have to worry about oxygen masks and you won't have to worry about acclimatization at all, because you'll have an onboard pressurization system which will probably put you about 7,000 or 8,000 feet, I'd suspect. That's what it's like in an airliner, at least. Maybe in a smaller plane it might be a little bit lower down, maybe 5,000 or 6,000 feet. So it sort of traps the pressure inside and traps that atmosphere inside the aircraft as you fly. So we're going to climb up to 14,000 just as a precaution. We have got our oxygen masks on. It would be really cool if Laminar Research could model a oxygen tank into the aircraft. I'm going to change our course there, just put it that way. Just a little bit more accurate. There are certain twin piston aircraft available. One of them being the Piper Seneca, which has received really good praise actually, and it only came out last year by a Mexican pilot slash developer. I've been looking at it, and it does in fact model the oxygen tank and the oxygen systems, and it actually models the aircraft very well. And then of course they have, aside from the Seneca, I think there's a, I can't remember what the other one is, but it's another twin piston aircraft. And it is, Nepal's very different, culturally at least, and language is very different. Everything there, you know, these guys live really high up in the mountains. They live very humble lives. I'm guessing they farm still. They eat the food off their land. They don't go to supermarkets as much as us. But they smoke like chimneys, which is very strange. You would not expect people at 9, even 10,000 feet to be smoking a lot, but they do. Okay, so 30,000 feet should give us enough altitude there to say clear the mountains. So we're going to cruise about 14,000 feet with 2,600 RPM. And the guidelines for the fuel is 16.5 gallons, which we've set it at. And of course, full forward manifold pressure, since it's not turbocharged, it won't maintain the manifold pressure. Of course, transponder should be on altitude. Okay, everybody, we're not too far from the airport now. We actually got there pretty quickly. We just gotta keep an eye on the train, and I've already pre-planned the arrival, so we're going on the headed mode now because we haven't got any directional guidance of the GPS after the waypoint Kimti. So from Kimti and that point on, in about 10 miles, we're all heading on the autopilot, and there's VNKL or VNLK. Lukla, Tenzing Hillary Airport, and we're landing on runway 6. So obviously the orangey brown things are the mountains around it. These like lighter colour ones are lower down, the darker colour ones are higher up. So as you can see, that's the lowest it will be, and then around here and around here is the highest. So we want to be flying in that low section, and we want to be coming around this valley, and then we want to be making that right hand turn on the final. We do not want to be flying over the top of this mountain and then down, because that's going to be an extremely steep descent then towards a very narrow and small runway. So when we get to our next waypoint, hopefully we can see it on the map. So there it is, we're almost at it. We'll keep flying a little bit more to the east, and then we're going to take the turn at the VNPL. That could be a potential alternate airport, although today Simbrief, bless it, has given us the alternate airport of VEJK, which is actually like way down to the west. Anyway, that's as far we got to go if we need to alternate. So we'll take the left hand turn when we get to about the NPL, and then we'll make that left hand turn into the valley, and this will be the world's most dangerous approach. I've never found one more difficult than this. Sure, there'll be airports that are challenging, but this is, you know, you only have one shot to land here. If you don't do it the first time, there's no mistakes allowed. Basically, you either land or you die. So it's very brutal. Of course, there's been plenty of crashes up there. In terms of aircraft, even the Beechcraft Baron might be considered too big, but it was the aircraft I chose to fly today. A Cessna's not really going to be able to handle the altitude too well, although we technically could do it, but there's no pressurization, and it's unlikely we'd have any oxygen on a little Cessna anyway. So it's a combination now. It's actually VFR now more than IFR. We're definitely going to have to do a VFR because we can see the surroundings much more clearly than I anticipated, which is always a good thing. Let's continue on the current heading, and then we'll take that left on turn as we get a bit closer. We are on headed mode. Let's go ahead and just bank slightly to the right, and we can now clear ourselves down to probably 12,500 feet. Let's go ahead and do that. We don't need to be too concerned about reducing any power settings just yet. Wind direction is a slight headwind, but nothing serious. Giving us about 196. We could just reduce. So you see the CHT has lowered. We are free to close the cowl flaps once again. Now we will be turning your damper back off for the landing. And God's on our side today. We've been given clear weather. We've been blessed with no clouds in the area whatsoever. You can also check this on the map. Absolutely zero in the area. I'm even a little bit reluctant to go down to 12.5 because we still got to get through that valley, and visibility is not like, the visibility is good, but it makes it look like we can't go through it, but we can. Let's just see what happens. We are pre-landing checklist, so we're within range. We have the ATIS information, I hope. Still on the Kathmandu QNH, need to change that, so 1030. Quite high up, as you can see. That'll give us a little bit more time then to descend as well. We're going to tune the course now to 060, which will be our runway heading, and we're going to slowly bank in that direction. In range, so altimeter set, the ice protection, all anti-ice is on, cowl flaps are closed, mixture's at 16.5 gallons. We can actually reduce that now back to, well, we can't until we get a little bit lower down. So we remain at 16.5 until we get down to the landing altitude. Seatbelt signs are on. Engine temperatures are looking pretty good. Landing lights. We'll do that when we're a little bit closer. We're just a little bit far. As you can see, 17 nautical miles. We are making that turn now to the airport. We will still have to pass over some high terrain in the meantime. We've calculated our speed on final. We've got 5 passengers on board. I'm going to estimate as low as and slow as we can get, maybe about 90 knots. Now, I have descended to 12.5, but we may have to go over that little bit of, so there's VMPL, that little bit of train here, and then back down, who knows. Or we could just do the smart thing and go around it. Got a feeling we're probably going to have to go over and then down, which is probably why we should have stayed at 14,000 feet. I'm just waiting for that valley to open up, and we should see an opening over on the left hand side at some point, and that'll give us the flight path. I think it's down here, just over this ridge. It does look like it sort of dips down. I know it's hard to see because the terrain looks very similar. I can just about make it out, so let's do a little right turn, then we'll go left again. It'd be ideal if they had a better chart to use, something that was transparent perhaps. So you can see there we're going to avoid that high terrain, then we're going to come back through this valley. All it means is we're going to have a slight angle on the approach and the turn, which is absolutely fine. We're actually about 3,000 feet above the runway now. Yeah, so this is our valley. It's going to open up and allow us to fly through it. It's down there as well. So let's keep this map open here. Fuel pumps have been on the whole time. I'm going to just continue to leave them on. We're at 0 degrees out inside, so I might as well. Although, to be fair, it does only say above 32 Celsius, so we don't want to really break any checklist rules. It's just nice to have it on the approach especially. Yeah, I got a feeling we're well too low down here. Should be able to make it though. And you'll notice now with the mountains around us, the lift and things will be affected. Of course, we've got all that lift rolling off these mountains and the winds, which will create obviously tricky situations sometimes. It is hard to see where we're going, I'm not going to lie. Let's just keep following the map that we're looking at on the right hand side. And we're going to slow down soon as well. Probably about 130, 120 knots. Descend now to 12,000 feet. If we can't see the runway, I mean I said there was a hit or miss, either we do it or we die, but I'm pretty sure we can make it go around the Beechcraft Baron. It would just mean a sharp right hand turn, but I'm ideally not going to do that. Okay, now we're going to slow down a bit, so let's bring that propeller back. Let's put the mixture on full rich. Fuel level, so we're going to do the thumps or the gumps check. So fuel is good, the undercarriage is not down yet. Mixture's full rich. Propellers are fully forward. Let's state them fully forward. We'll use the manifold pressure. Super close to the airport, guys. Okay, here's the valley. One notch of flaps. I do like the balance, we could fly it manually. I think that's the airport down there. Yes, it is. We got the airport in sight, everybody. Okay, everybody prepare for landing. Let's get rid of the autopilot. Let's go ahead and reduce our throttles down a lot more as we start to descend towards the runway. Now, as you can see, it's going to be a right hand turn there towards the final. Flaps are down. Stick our landing gear down. So you slow down now, about 80, 90 knots was our goal, wasn't it? Full flaps. Maintaining a high manifold pressure so we don't lose our lift. Yaw dampers coming off. Landing lights and taxi lights on. Thousand feet to go. 1,000 feet to go. Turbulence is kicking in. Trim for that nose. Maintain what we are on it now. Just careful not to add too much pitch in there because there's lift coming off those side bridges. You can see we're going to be descending now about 9,700, 600 feet above ground level. There we go. Reduce those manifold pressure to idle. Just for the time being while we glide down. A little bit more, there we go. Not quite 9,300 as I expected, but it'll do. A little bit low down. Don't take any chances, everybody. If you're a bit low down like I am, then put full manifold in. Little bit below that runway. We were fine on the descent, but we obviously misinterpreted it because the mountains around us. 80 knots, we're borderline stall, we're perfect speed though to land. Oh, slight hard landing. Really hope this is Lukla Airport. Anyway everyone, welcome to Lukla Airport. Let's get landing lights off. Cowl flaps open. Continue our taxi into the taxi bay. Transponder to standby. Flaps up. $10 up here as well. Now it would be night, but we've obviously not flown real weather today. All the anti-ice is coming off. Not bad. Round of applause everyone, not bad at all. I think what started as a beautiful approach just slightly misinterpreted my speed. I actually did what I said we shouldn't do, which is reduce that manifold and power setting down. I did that and then we lost the lift, as you could see, so just be aware of that. You will lose lift very, very quickly. Parking brake set. Throttles 1000 RPM. Avionics off. Navigation, lights, taxi lights off. Panel lights coming off. Strobes off. Electrical switches. Everything's off. We leave the prop sync on. Mixtures. Cut them off. We leave the RPM high. Magnetos off. Alternators and battery switch. I think that's everything done in the checklist. So full checklist, vents, window and hubs time is recorded. Cabin door open. Well, welcome the 4 people in the back. We did make it. Let's get those chocks in place so don't roll away. Oh, what a view. What a view. Incredible airport. I'm just really glad it's paved as well. Doesn't seem to be anyone else here though. This is a bit serene. Lovely though. Got the whole airport to myself. We've got the whole mountain there to explore. We'll be going up to the base camp soon. If any of you haven't acclimatized, well, I can't really do much about it. I'm going to be leaving here soon and going back base. If you do want to stick around and watch the replay, please do so. That was a somewhat hard landing, but still we survived it. And the Baron's wheels and suspension system can easily handle such a landing. Thanks. Compliments. Thank you, Thydus. It was not bad at all. I'm going to agree with you on it. And again, like I say, stick around for the replay. I love this flight, love to see you all. Have a fantastic Friday, have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you on the next aviation flight. Or if you're going to join our Humanity Z streams, I'll be streaming that tomorrow. So take care and see you later.